Good morning. Very happy to see you all here. So we are happy to inform you that this year in 2025, our museum, Vishwesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, fondly known as VITM, is celebrating its Diamond Jubilee. We are in So since last 60 years, museum is continuously popularizing science among masses to millions. Okay. So museum started in 1962, on 14th July 1962, when the then Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru inaugurated this museum. And the first gallery of the museum, Electrotechnique, which was inaugurated in 1965, July 27. So that is the beginning of our museum. So this year we are celebrating Diamond Jubilee. And in this regard, today we have arranged a memorial lecture on Sir MV, the legendary nation builder, by Sri S.M. Kenneth, member NCSM Society and former director of VITM. And to welcome you all for this program, I'd request Sri K. Sajavaskar, director of the museum, to give welcome address.
Good morning and welcome you all to VITM. The museum, built to honor Sir Mokshagundam Vishwesvaraya, is celebrating its Diamond Jubilee. And it is in this connection that we are having this memorial talk titled Sir MV, the legendary national builder, by Shivaprasad M. Kennard. At the outset, let me welcome Sri Kennard, all our distinguished invitees, members of the press, teachers and students to this program. I'll tell a bit about the museum. It all started in late 1950s when a group of eminent personalities in Bangalore took initiative to have a museum which they thought will be a tribute to Sir MV, whose birth centenary was approaching. They were inspired by great museums abroad like Smithsonian. A society named Vishwesvaraya Industrial Museum Society was formed. The government of Mysore was kind enough to provide this land where the museum stands now. When it was in the name of Sir MV, everything fell in place quickly. Funds were raised with the support of All India Manufacturers Association. The building was completed quickly and was inaugurated by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru on 14th July 1962. Unfortunately, Sir MV had left to his heavenly abode by that time. Initially, only few machineries and products of HMT and BEL were the displays at the museum. And later, the society thought it was better to hand over this to CSIR to make it a better museum. On 27 July 1965, the first gallery on the theme, Electrotechnique, was inaugurated, and hence this day is taken as the birthday of the museum. The museum has grown in leaps and bounds after that. Apart from this museum, there are a vast array of institutions and infrastructural projects that have the signature and connections with Sir MV. Further, he is a role model to all of us for the integrity that he maintained in public life. His legacy will inspire many more generations to come. To speak to us more about Sir MV, we have Sri Shivaprasad M. Kennard, here a man who is very passionate about science and science communication. He has vast experience in developing science exhibitions as curator and director at National Science Centre Delhi, Vishwesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum Bangalore, and Nehru Science Centre Mumbai under National Council of Science Museums. He was also the director of National Gallery of Modern Art at Bangalore and Mumbai. Apart from many exhibitions on science, history of science, lives and works of scientists, etc., he has curated an exhibition, The Cricket Connects India and England, which was presented at the historical Lord's Stadium in London and also at Nehru Centre, London, and at Birmingham and Edinburgh. He was the nodal officer for the Illuminating India 5,000 Years of Science and Innovation exhibition at the London Science Museum. Mr. Kennard has published more than 60 popular science articles and research papers in leading science communication journals. His blog of well-researched articles on various topics are followed and appreciated by many. As director of various science museums, he has mentored many of us and led us by his passion for science communication. When he was the director of VITM, an exhibition on Sir MV was conceptualized and developed in 2011 to mark the legendary engineer's 150th birth anniversary. This exhibition remains a landmark tribute blending historical insight and with public engagement. Known for his deep knowledge and thoughtful writing, Sri Kenneth continues to contribute actively to the museum and science education landscape in India, shaping how knowledge is shared with the public in meaningful and inspiring ways. A pleasant welcome to you, sir. Let me also welcome all the distinguished guests who are present here, who responded to our invitation, posts in social media, and through the word-of-mouth publicity. A pleasant welcome to you all. Let me welcome all the members of press who have come to cover today's program. Let me welcome the teachers and students of colleges, the Nirpatunka University, the Maharani Cluster University, and New Horizon College. Pleasant welcome to you all. Last but not the least, a hearty welcome to all my colleagues at VITM. I request Sri Kenneth to deliver his lecture.
It's okay. Oh, you can do that to me? Yes. This helpful. But good morning. Thank you, Saju, for your very warm welcome. I have some special guests today. In fact, in the world of social media, we tend to have quite a number of social media friends. I'm so happy that some of my social media friends are also here, based on the posting that Vishweshwaraya Museum had done. And I'm also happy that my Sainik School friends, seniors, juniors, they're also here. I mean, it's just a coincidence. Saju briefly talked about the history of this museum, which is celebrating the Diamond Jubilee tomorrow. I was incidental to this institution for a very brief period, for about 25 months, 2 years and 1 month. But it was providential, perhaps, that in that period of 25 months came the sesquicentennial year of Sir MV's official birthday. There are issues with that. We all of us think that, particularly from Karnataka, that he was actually born on 15th September 1860. But the copy of the passport, the British passport that he held, clearly shows 15th September 1861. So in that sense, I think we were right because we just wanted to, when I came here in January 2011, we thought the museum is named after Vishweshwaraya Museum and Vishweshwaraya. Saju mentioned about the passion about the people, the people who gathered together to create this museum. When so many of them have perspired to create this museum in his name, but what have we done? Have we curated an exhibition on his life and works? Normally in NCSM, we tend to curate one exhibition which is topical. International Year of Pulsars, International Year of Astrophysics, and things like that. Incidentally, 2011, perhaps, I don't remember, I think it was the International Year of Chemistry. And that also happened to be the 150th year of the great Praful Chandra Ray. It was extremely difficult. Praful Chandra Ray was part of the Indian Renaissance, and for reasons unknown to me, Sir MV should have been a national figure, which he is. All of us feel so, but less known. So we thought that let's try and do this, and fortunately we did get the approval from the headquarters for a bare minimum expenditure that we have. We are allotted. So that's how the exhibition started. But then I've actually slightly modified the talk. Initially, I was under the impression that I will be addressing only the students. But then with more and more, some of the family members of the Sir MV coming here and some intellectuals coming here, I've just slightly modified to bring in the historicity of how this museum began. But there is a connection with the Vishweshwaraya. That's why I started this. Now let me start this. Saju, you talked about the friends of the museum who wanted to create this and based on their inspiration from this Smithsonian. This, if you really draw an analogy of Bengal, you had another analogy there. There were also the group of people led by the chief minister, B.C. Ray, who actually had seen the Deutsches Museum in Germany, in Munich, and he wanted to replicate that. And he had the support of the Tatas there. But here, it's interesting to note the All India Institute of, Manufacturers Organization. Sir M.V. has contributed equally to Mumbai. That's something which is not heralded. We all know that the southern part of the Karnataka, particularly this area and all over the country, Sir M.V.'s imprints are there. But I think if you ask me, profound impacts are there of Sir M.V. in Bombay. He, in fact, used to stay in Warden Road in Bombay. Whenever he used to go to Bombay, he used to stay on the Warden Road. In fact, the All Indian Manufacturers Organization, some of the people who actually, who wanted to start this, they went and met him. So all these things started with the running up to the centenary of Sir M. Vishweshwaraya. A committee was constituted. The centenary committee, which was to organize this Sir M. Vishweshwaraya centenary on 15th September 1960. It was to be organized in the Lal Bagh there as a public function. Everybody, that time I think, if I remember it rightly, B.D. Jatti was the chief minister. Everything was in place. Sir M.V. also had informed that he will be coming here to attend this and to pay his respect to M.V. in person. But it so happened that just about 7 days in advance, that is on the 8th of April 1960, his son-in-law died. So people were under them because nobody wanted to ask. I mean, Nehru was a doyen of the freedom movement and the founding prime minister. So they didn't want to ask him, will you come or not? So there was some kind of an uncertainty, although in writing, he was to come and grace this occasion, the centenary occasion, but there was some doubt whether he will come or not. But then Nehru, he gave up his tragic whatever loss of his son-in-law, but he personally came here. And the photograph that you see is, or the photographs that, in fact, we got this from G.D. Naidu. There were lots and lots of people who supported us in a very short period while developing the exhibition on Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, which Saju talked about. These are the two people, Saju and there's another lady there, Jyoti, who were tasked with this. And I was incidental. I supported them, and whatever little I could do, I supported them. And this is how the exhibition came up. G.D. Naidu's, he shared some of the most stunning photographs for the exhibition, and several others from across the country shared this, the wonderful information and archival resources. And in fact, there was one special stamp collection, which in what you see there, I think is perhaps that stamp collection which Pandit Nehru gave to Vishweshwaraya. Now let me come to this. We also had a centenary, the first day cover there. These are the photographs of the public function where M.V. Was actually felicitated by none other than Pandit Nehru. Then some Pandit Nehru, what he said on that occasion is very interesting. It speaks of what M.V. was. He says, "You, sir, have been always young in mind, young in outlook, and looking as young people should to the future. You have not lost yourself in the past. You have always looked to the future, and you have always built for that future, and you have reminded us always this modern world of science and industry and technology, and so many of us feel old when we look at your young self. We in India have an unfortunate reputation for talking a great deal and not living up to what we say. You, sir, have been a great exception to that rule, for you have talked little and done much." This has, succinctly, summarizes the contribution of Sir M.V. by none other than Pandit Nehru. There are other interesting, I must talk about this. I don't know, some of you must have read this. There was this, the centenary committee which was constituted to celebrate M. Vishweshwaraya's birth centenary. there were a lot of outstandingly doyens in the industry. Maybe it could be science, could be politicians, industrialists. They all gathered together, and there were about 46 people who have contributed they have talked about their experience, their living with Sir M. Vishweshwaraya. I don't know whether this publication is available, but especially those young students there, all of you who are doing engineering or whatever science, you must please read the articles written by so many people, all doyens in their own field, about what Sir M.B. was. I'm not going to go into the details of this. I mean, just in the bottom, if you can see, I've just highlighted a couple of them who have contributed to this, the centenary volume. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Radhakrishnan, Morarji Desai, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Swaran Singh. These are all, I've used the politicians' name because every one of us know. But there are several others, unsung heroes as well. You have Ramaswamy Iyer, C.D. Deshmukh, it should be BV, not DV, sorry. Subconsciously, Mankutimana Kagga comes into the mind, I don't know. For all Kannadigas, perhaps instead of it, please read it as BV Gundappa, Sir Mirza Ismail. I mean, every one of them have contributed, including your mother, sir. Satish Mokshagundam is here. Your mother too has written there. A beautiful personal relationship that she had with Sir M.V. Now, this just a while ago, in fact, sitting in Saju's room, I did this. There are some very interesting anecdotes which I would like to quote. Nehru came here in 1960. The kind of a respect and reverence that Nehru had for M.V. is seen from the summary that I gave you, the précis that I gave you. But then, Sir M.V. and Nehru had wonderful relationship. In the sense, in 1947, M.V. was responsible for the creation of the All India Manufacturers Organization, who incidentally gathered money for funding this building. Almost always every year, the foundation lecture for All India Manufacturers Organization was held in a very big way. Lots of industrialists and they all used to assemble. In 1947, I think it was 14th April. I don't remember that. Perhaps 14th April. Providentially, because Sir M.V. passed away on 14th April in 1962. During his presidential address, the M.V. was the president of the All India Manufacturers Organization. He bitterly criticized Nehru and his policies, economic and planning policies. I mean, he was so caustic about Nehru and the way how the government of, then government of, it was not there. I mean, there was a provisional government, how it was running. After that, Nehru was very angry with what M.V. spoke about. We all know that Nehru was a great speaker and also he was excellent in his writings and things like that. He started countering Sir M.V. with his own inimitable style. But when M.V. was speaking, it is written there by two people who were present. One of them, of course, belonging to the All India Institute of Manufacturers Organization, that Nehru's face had turned red. He was so angry with him. But when he started talking about M.V. and told that what you're thinking is wrong, we are doing our best, that time, the way we see in the modern day TV debates, Vishweshwaraya started interrupting. Each time he used to tell, no, you're wrong. You should have done this, you should have done this. Nehru was getting irritated. At one point, when things were going on like this, intentionally or unintentionally, perhaps unintentionally, M.V. called him Motilal. What you're talking is wrong. And Nehru was taken aback. Why is he calling him Motilal? So maybe his age, that's why he's calling him Motilal instead of Jawaharlal. Then Pandit Nehru said, Sir M.V., I think you've forgotten. You're catching up with age. I am Jawaharlal. I know you are Jawaharlal. What I communicate, my feelings will be better known to your father because he has worked with me, he understands me. That time you were a small kid, you were a young man. You better learn. So this was the kind of a relationship that Pandit Nehru and M.V. had. But the respect that Nehru had shows from the fact that just 7 days ago, he had lost his son-in-law, yet he came for the centenary celebration. Then there is another interesting thing. The Congress has used Nehru beautifully. ME was very well known for planned economy, industrialization, and things like that. The Congress, the United Province Congress, published a pamphlet. The pamphlet was written actually by Nehru. Most of the highlights of the title of that was Poverty of India and Its Cure. All the important points jotted down in this under the name of Nehru, published in the name of Nehru, were all from MB. Fortunately, MB was credited for the highlights which were brought out in that. Then there is another thing that happened. The one thing constant with MB, he was never ever associated with any political affiliation. He always worked for the government, be it British, be it Mysore, whatever it is. He worked very honestly and he thought he should do the best for the country. And for him, education, creating institutions are far superior because that's what is going to bring about the changes in the people's lives. Not, what happened, we were great. And he never, yes, he did know that India was a great, historically significant, rich country. But then living in the past, he never appreciated. So in 1938, that time the Congress president was, I think it was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He constituted a committee with 15 members, if I'm not wrong. He wanted to make Sir M.V. the chairman and Pandit Nehru as a member. The committee constituted some good industrialists, scientists and things like that. One of the 15 members was Meghnad Saha. I mean, the scientists and the science communication people know about his contribution. Incidentally, for the common people, Meghnad Saha is the one, whenever we see the date, the dates that we use, the calendar that we use, the calendar reformation committee chairman was Meghnad Saha. And he was, of course, a great scientist as well. So Meghnad Saha went to Subhash Chandra Bose and he also called Sir M.V. and requested both of them, sir, in my understanding, it will be fair that this committee is headed by Nehru and not M.V. M.V. was the first to say yes. And although, Sir M.V. was senior to him in terms of age, but he realized that no, it will have a weightage if there is a political leader who is regarded as a chairman. So that's how that 15-member committee was chaired by Nehru and in which Sir M.V., Meghnad Saha and others were the members. But then as expected, if things don't go the way Sir M.V. expects, he was very angry about it. So he just waited and then we also must remember in hindsight, whatever they wanted to do, there was Gandhi behind. And we know what Gandhiji and Sir M.V.'s industrialize and perish and industrialize or perish. This is the kind of a dialogue which Gandhi and Vishweshwaraya used to always have. So because of Gandhi, the committee could not make any progress any further. So Vishweshwaraya shot out a letter to Nehru telling that I am resigning from this. Pandit Nehru again spoke to him in person and told, look, this is going to, you must understand it's not like an engineering that you complete it. We have to see the socio-political situation and all those things. And finally, Vishweshwaraya, perhaps, he was very considerate. He withdrew his resignation from the committee, but nothing happened. But if you look at the document which was produced from this, the 5-year plan that we look at, the first 5-year plan, everything comes out from this committee's recommendation. That is another one. Then again, Nehru was, it's not Nehru's fault, but Sir M.V., All Indian Manufacturers Organization, they come out with a beautiful report on how do we alleviate the poverty in rural area, how do we industrialize, how do we bring about developments in the rural areas. That report, All India AIMO, circulated to everyone. That time, we had the British province and then we had this princely states, including Mysore. Perhaps nobody cared for this. It perhaps went into the dustbin, except Mysore to some extent. Mysore did take some efforts. And there too, subconsciously he thought that it is all Nehru, he should have done this, he should have ensured that, some of the people should have implemented. So there was always some kind of a conflict between Nehru and Sir M.V. Sir M.V. always thought that he should have done much more than what he should do. That did not happen. Yet, the respect that Nehru had for MV never ever diminished. There is another thing that's interesting, and maybe it could be not providential, but at least they have been etched together. In 1955, we know three people got the Bharat Ratna. It is said, but I have no proof to. At least I don't have a written. I have to look into the archives. It was originally Vishweshwaraya and I think Bhagwan Das who were supposed to share the 1955 the Bharat Ratna. It is told that it is not Nehru but somebody else. The president himself said that no, Nehru, you should also be in that list. That is how three people have been given the Bharat Ratna together. But in the social media, we all know that Nehru got it upon himself. Absolutely, neither for this nor that there are no evidence. The fact of the matter is, 1955, three of these doyens shared the Bharat Ratna. Now let me come to this. Everybody talked about the foundation stone laying ceremony. Pandit Nehru flew down. He did all this thing. He talked, and although forgetting his own, then. Incidentally, although there was effort from the beginning, from Mr. Gupta onwards, there were people who were friends of the museum. They wanted to start this museum. But as with all the politicians, Pandit Nehru announced from the Lal Bagh itself that we'll be creating, when we are celebrating the centenary celebration, that we'll be establishing a museum in honor of Sir MV. So all of us, general public, know that Vishweshwaraya Museum was established because Pandit Nehru announced in his centenary celebration. It is so ironical that unfortunately Vishweshwaraya was not there when Nehru came to lay the foundation stone on 14th July 1962. Sorry, there's also this statement you must see. This was a statement made by Nehru when the foundations, when he came here in 1962. Without science, you perish. Without spirituality, you perish also. We see in Dr. Vishweshwaraya a man of vision, a man of creative activity, a man looking ahead, and a man who built around himself and around others a tradition of looking to science and technology, which was very, very necessary for India. Others were working to that end, but he was preeminent in it. So this, why the Vishweshwaraya Museum was important to him. I don't know from this hallowed institution how many visitors have come in and where are they. Unfortunately, we are very bad at documenting. Perhaps there could be some of the leaders in the scientific field or wherever. They could have passed through this. Maybe this museum has inspired some young children, excited them, and they must be, leading in one or the other field. So this museum and the people who have made a career, maybe by the spark that it may have ignited by looking at this, visiting this museum, they all owe to Sir Vishweshwaraya. I'll just take a minute. I'm extremely happy that one of my senior in Sainik School, Ashok Dalwai sir, he was the chairman of the doubling of the farmers' income group, secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture, and thank you so much, sir, for your presence. Just take what. Now I'm coming to this. Like I briefly mentioned, Saju talked about, we created this exhibition in 2011. It was providential that 2011 happened to be the sesquicentennial year of Sir MV, and I was posted here. Then we got funds also, and then this is what, I'm not going to talk much about this because some of you may have seen this exhibition, and there was one most important part of the exhibition is that from Muddenahalli, we got several original objects belonging to Sir Vishweshwaraya, and we created what we call as a period kind of a room where Sir MV's belongings were all exhibited there. the kind of response that this exhibition got is beyond one's imagination. I have never ever seen such a coverage other than maybe cricket and cinema. This kind of a, coverage never ever comes in any of the newspapers. But then see, look at what happened. This was the 15th, was it 15th September 2011 or earlier? Huh? I don't know, maybe it was opened in July, that's what she says. But this is the kind of a coverage that this exhibition got. So imagine, that means we started somewhere in February, March. In 6 months, or maybe if that be the case, in 6-7 months perhaps maybe we inaugurated this, July or August or whatever it is. Then I'll show you some more. See this. And massive coverage. That clearly shows even the media, which generally is accused of whatever. I don't want to use these words because it's a August gathering here, and then there are lots of students, such kind of a words which are normally used. But then, I mean, only when you pay the media covers. It's not the case. It's the person and his contribution that earned this kind of the response that Sir M.V. received. Look at this. I mean, we had stunning coverage of the exhibition, and we were happy that it was not only in English. I find something from Telugu there. I mean, whatever I could get, the newspaper coverages, I have managed to put this in my presentation. Now, how did this help? Is something very interesting. After this, I was transferred from here to the Mumbai in, I think, February 2013. I took charge there. I wanted to, there's an exhibition on our technology heritage there. And one of the things that we really highlighted was the heritage of iron and technology that India has. The iron pillar, in Delhi stands testimony to the richness of the iron heritage that India has. So I had gone to the Jindal Foundation. Can we have a series of lecture from the experts in the field of iron and steel heritage in India? But then what happened is, maybe I wanted some 20 lakhs, I don't remember that money, that perhaps she talked to her husband. Sajjan Jindal incidentally passed his engineering from Bangalore, MS Ramaya College. So he knows about Sir M.V.'s this thing. So he told his wife, he can do it because the title of the talk was Sir M. Vishwesvaraya Memorial Iron and Technology Heritage of India. Primarily because, Bhadravati Iron and Steel, we wanted to connect with that. But I never imagined that there will be pressure on me to create this. Because he had, I don't know how, he had heard about the Sir M.V. exhibition that had happened here. So he said, you create that. But that time perhaps there was, I don't know where that exhibition had gone. We thought, well, I don't have control on that because that exhibition was done in Bangalore. So he said, take money, create another one. That's how we created another exhibition. Completely, added a little bit more than what was here. And this exhibition was created. And it was inaugurated by Dr. Anil Kakodkar. We all know he was one of the heroes in both Pokhran 1 and 2, Padma Vibhushan himself. And all these people came here. Why I am telling this, there's a story. Maybe I will reduce my talk on the biography of Vishwesvaraya, but talk more on this, which is going to be interesting. Then there was also money given to us for a publication. Can you show that? We had done an exhibition here, but I don't know, in NCSM we have this, good or bad habit. We don't publish. We do a lot of research, but we don't publish. Maybe we don't have funds for that. But with courtesy, the JSW Foundation, they gave us money. And this was the publication which we brought out. So this publication, again, when he came for the inauguration, Sajjan told, why don't you bring a catalog on this? So this publication was released by none other than Mashelkar, another Padma Vibhushan. The reason I have brought in Mashelkar here is interesting. There is another connection of Vishwesvaraya nobody knows. Not many people. There are scholars who will be knowing. That I will show here. Why has this Mukesh come here? Mukesh has come here because Mukesh Ambani, all of us have read in the newspaper, he donated 151 crore to Institute of Chemical Technology. Formerly, this institute was known as University Department of Chemical Technology. You'll find it interesting to note, way back in 1923, Sir M.V. was appointed as a chairman of a committee. And the committee was for technical and industrial education. He wanted to bring a report on technical and industrial education in Bombay province. The Bombay province was relatively more advanced in terms of all these things. The committee consisted of 22 members, 15 Europeans, 7 Indians. Sir M.V. was very clear in his thought what is to be there. But there was a division between the Europeans and this one. So finally, there was no consensus. The 2 reports came up. One which was vetted by the Europeans, one vetted by the Indians, which anyway Indians was in minority. So nothing happened to the technical and industrial education policy in Bombay. But then subsequently what happened is, somewhere in 1930, this committee was formed by the Bombay government. But in 1930 or so, 31, the Bombay University on their own created another committee, just a 3-member committee. The chair again was Sir M. Visvesvaraya. There he said, not only he concentrated only on technical education center of excellence, but he highlighted the importance of chemicals. There has to be an institution established for studies on chemical industry, how chemical industries and chemistry, you know everything, in terms of medicine, all those things should be taught there. That is how in just 2 years, 2.5 years of the recommendation that Bombay Presidency received, Bombay University received, they started University Department of Chemical Technology. It was one small department in the Bombay University. I don't know how many of us know, to the best of my understanding, there must be about 20 Padma awardees, including Professor M.M. Sharma, the doyen in chemistry. Most of the chemical industry which come up in India, they all owe their genesis to one man, Professor M.M. Sharma. Incidentally, Professor M.M. Sharma was the guru of Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani, in his lecture, because I also attended the occasion was release of a biography book on Professor M.M. Sharma. I was one of the attendees, and I had read this. I thought it could be an anecdotal reference, but no first-hand information was there. He mentioned there that Mukesh Ambani also had an opportunity to join IIT Bombay as a mechanical engineer. He got seat there. But then some of his friends, they had taken up they came here and got enrolled in UDCT for chemical engineering. He just came to listen one lecture on polymers from Professor M.M. Sharma. He was bowled over. One lecture, he left IIT Bombay and took this. The rest is history. You know the Reliance Petrochemical and what it has done. Politics apart, but Reliance industry per se, the revolutionary changes. It is also said that Professor M.M. Sharma's students include none other than, of course, Mukesh Ambani. Even R. Mashelkar is a product of the UDCT. Mashelkar himself, a student of Professor M.M. Sharma, he is also a member of the Royal Academy of Sciences and fellow of the Royal Society, and so is M.M. Sharma. 2 engineers getting fellow of the Royal Society, very rarity. It's more normally the scientists who get the fellow of the Royal Society. So that's a kind of a impact that the forethoughts that Visvesvaraya had, that I must create a department of chemistry which will have a greater economic impact for the country. So this is an outcome of that. So after this, what happened? Bombay University comes into the picture now, because UDCT, here, when in 2015, India Science Congress exhibition had to happen in Bombay was chosen as a venue. They immediately realized that we are having this in 2015. We are having this just a year before. Nehru Science Center had brought out an exhibition, had brought out a book and all those things. Why don't you put this exhibition there in the India Science Congress? It was one of the most visited pavilion at the India Science Congress, which was held in the Bombay University. So again, Bombay University I'm bringing in back here because MV had a contribution to Bombay University. Incidentally, Bombay University, I have a press report from the Asiatic Society, when he was honored with the doctorate, D.Litt. The kind of appreciation that goes into Sir MV is something which is phenomenal. And I was incidental, but when we got an award for the India Science Congress for this pavilion. I received on behalf of my entire team. So this is all the background that I created, sir. I mean, just before you came here, I was telling my colleague, my talk was to happen from here onwards because there are only students. I thought I'll talk about the biography of Sir MV, but then when Dinesh told me that you are coming, Gopal sir said, no, I should put some intellectual thing and archival thing. So all the things that happened earlier is basically just to please you and some of other Sainik school classmates. So I'm sure, I hope some of you may have found this interesting. But, I mean, all of us know that ME has written both these two books, but written not a single word on his family, on his personal thing. It's everything official. So whatever the exhibition that we have done is based on his writings and also based on the writings that the centenary celebration, which about 46 people, what they have written about, and there are other people who have also written on this. And now I'll come to it's easier not to tax your brains also. All of us know that Sir MV was born in Muddenhalli. The family, of course, comes from Andhra Pradesh. They migrated here maybe hundreds of years ago. And Srinivas Shastriji, the father of Sir MV, died very young. But, sir, your mother, Satish sir, your mother has written in that book that she died at Raichur. Unfortunately, I'm trying so much hard to get some anecdotal reference. I'm not, because I'm from Raichur. So I'm not getting that reference, but your mother has written. No, I mean, her mother, Sir MV's father. Raichur, sure, but I'm not getting the evidence for that. Your mother has written, it's an anecdotal. Sir, it's directly coming from the family. So that, it interests me because I'm from Raichur. MV's mother had a great influence on Sir MV because his father was more into religious, spiritual things, and he was not there for his upbringing. MV, we know he started his schooling from Chikballapur, very briefly. And there is also, your mother has also written very interesting thing. Why did she go to Chikballapur from Muddenhalli? She says that there was a robbery in your house. That robbery, she said, no, it's not going to be safe here. Let me shift my son to, that's how they shifted to Chikballapur. And then he did his schooling there. And then from there, of course, he came to you see that Wesleyan Mission High School. He did his high school there. During that time, it is said that MV and his mother, both for about a month or a month and a half, maybe took leave and went back. But MV's mother's brother, he's a very influential figure, H. Ramaya. He said, he wrote to his sister and told, if you start, absenting from the school, you will have nowhere to go. So from that day onwards, MV never absented himself from any school. He came back. Then, of course, he came to Central College. He excelled. He passed out with outstanding result. But then there was one, the British gentleman, you see there, Charles Walter. He was very, very fond of him. MV was extremely good in maths. He was also good in English and other subjects. So Charles Walter, he presented to him one of his very favorite Webster's dictionary, if I'm not wrong. So that dictionary also formed a part of this exhibition here in the Visheshwaraya Museum, which is currently with in Muddenhalli in Sir MV's museum. The story doesn't end here. Sir MV did travel extensively. He undertook about 6 foreign trips. In one of the foreign trips, when he went to UK, because after retiring from the Central College, the Walters family went back to England. MV met them there. By that time, Walter had died. He met his wife. She gave him the 2 couplings. I think you must be having still in the museum, sir? At home. Okay, say it at home, not at the Muddenhalli Museum. So those 2, the golden couplings, Walters had told his wife that please give this as a mark of my respect to his student. Those 2 are also in the collection of a great teacher. That's why perhaps in our culture we have that Acharya Devo Bhava. Maybe Mukesh Ambani is given that 151 crore to the Acharya, actually to the Guru, but it's gone. The Guru said that you give it to Institute of Chemical Technology, not to me. Now comes again he did get a scholarship from the then first Diwan of Mysore for after completing his BA, he went to the Pune Science College, College of Science in Pune in 1881 for doing his engineering, and he completed that in just about 2.5 years. He passed out in 1983 with a degree which is called as licentiate in civil engineering. That time, there was a policy of the Bombay government that anyone who tops the college are directly absorbed. I mean, campus recruitment, perhaps, kind of a campus recruitment. So he was a topper. So automatically he got assistant engineer's post, grade 1 now, in the Bombay province. And he was first posted in Nasik. But very interestingly, he was hardly there for a few days. I think he was posted in some Nasik for about 10 days, 15 days. He was immediately transferred to another place called as Dhulia. It was here that, it was the rainy season, and he was asked to connect some, the water supply. He was supposed to, from the lake that passed through, or the stream of river that passes through, he had to create these pipelines and for drinking water. Some of them, he was staying a little bit far away from the site where the pipes had to be laid. He thought since it is rainy season, it will be very difficult. Each time he tries to dig something, and then the rain comes in and it washes away whatever has been dug. It was becoming extremely difficult. Some people suggested to him that why don't you write to the then executive engineer that this is happening. It's simply wasting labor and manpower and the cost. So let's rest for some time. As soon as the rain subsides, we'll take up this work. Unfortunately, I don't have that writing. The engineer, I forget his name now, he wrote a memo to him, Sir MV. You've just started, the young engineer has started his career with a bad remark, and that you're coming out with an excuse not to do the work. He wrote that letter to him. Unfortunately, I'm not getting that. I don't know. Do you have that by any chance? Book has it. I think it must be there in the Asiatic Society. We've got to see this. So, but then Vishweshwara wrote back to him, and then he did in that train, he completed the work much before the scheduled time. Later on, it was the same engineer who recommended to him that you must appear for an exam. The exam was just like for the civil services. If you're posted in a particular, if you're Karnataka cadre, you got to learn Kannada. There too, if you had to get a promotion, he had to pass, of course, his engineering and also pass a Marathi test. In fact, Sir MV was not even confident that he will pass the so-called exacting British standards of engineering paper, let alone Marathi. But then the engineer who had issued him a memo retracted it later because of his efficiency, wrote to him and told him, please appear, you will pass. And he did. And in just less than 2.5, 3 years, he got 2 promotions from the assistant engineer to grade 1 to grade 2 in just about 3 years. So that is the kind of the reverence or the respect that he earned with the Britishers. Then subsequently he was, most of the time he worked in the Bombay presidency, and wherever he went, all his British superiors and so also the Indian counterpart, they were extremely happy to him. In 1893, there was one very big challenge that came up in a place called Sukur. Vishweshwara was given this offer, but the engineer who wrote to him, he was a chief engineer, who wanted him to take, if possible, can you take up this assignment? Also wrote some, cautionary note as well, telling that, look, the Sukur is a place which is not, which may not be very convenient to you from weather point of view, but however, in addition to the salary that you're getting, you're going to get some maybe 200 additional incentives, and you're going to get accommodation and all those things. But MV always accepted challenge. So he took up this challenge, went to Sukur. The challenge here was one is to create water supply for the military people, and also to the place called Sukur. That was the Indus water which was flowing there, and Indus water is known for its muddiness. So how do I supply clean water at a lesser cost? You can have a filtering plant, but then he thought of what we now call as the natural filtering that takes place. It's now known in engineering as collector's well. He created this collector's well, had several pipes collecting into a clean water, naturally clean with the gravels and the sands and the stones that accumulate in the river. That's how he completed this project. And the Lord Sydenham, if I'm not wrong, he wrote outstandingly appreciative note in memory of Sir MV and his contribution. Maybe I have used it here. Since we're running out of time, I will not spend much time on this. We Kannadigas are known for appropriating Sir MV's work of the so-called gates. But actually he did it long, long ago in Pune, in Lake Fife. There, the automatic sluice gates, it's a beautiful thing that he did. I mean, unfortunately, you are not able to see this. You can see Lord and Lady Lamington at Khadakwasla. They came to see this. By the time, in fact, what happened there is, there was a lot of water crisis there, and Pune was a bed of freedom fighters. A lot of them, there were people who used to always write about this is not happening, that is not happening. The Britishers were very careful that something comes, some criticism comes in the paper. All that, if water is not there, water is not going to the farmers, everything will come in the paper. That, in order to address that, we had the sanitation engineer, which is Sir MV. He had to come into the picture. So in this, what he did is, he first, on a pilot basis, he created one sluice gate. He implemented 8 of them and realized that the water level at that one small portion of 8 increased by about 20 to 25% without any other additional investment in terms of raising the total, the height of the reservoir. As it is, the height of the reservoir cannot be increased because at the foundation level, you have not done that. So whether it will survive is not known. Just by his innovative design, he was able to increase the storage. Once this storage, they realized the effectiveness of that, he created a group of another, I think 12 of such, that means another 96 such sluice gates were created, thus resulting in outstanding storage and serving the purpose of the water shortage in Pune. So these are some of the historic photographs from the Pune site. He got the patent for this. I think in Indian system, when you get recognition, patent, some of our people, like whether it is him or the great Jagadish Chandra Bose, although they did get a patent, they never utilized the patent. So was Sir M. Vishwesvaraya. He got a patent for this, and the sluice gates are used everywhere now. In India itself, there are several places, including Kannambadi, where the sluice gates have been used. He should have got a royalty for that. He never wanted this. So you can see, and I am not quoting the gentleman who has written that. Somebody, I just came across a very negative report, which I discussed with one of my friend here, Raju, that the so-called patent, the invention of the sluice gate was not his, somebody else's. So this is the proof that I got this from this. So Indian invention and designs. It's mentioned here, Vishwesvaraya, I have highlighted. This is the Bombay Gazette, 23rd March 1904. Of course, the fact that he's got a patent shows that it is his and nobody else's. But then there are always controversies. We have the C.V. Raman and K.S. Krishnan's controversy. But this is the evidence, material evidence, which I'm showing. And there are other things that I got from Asiatic Society regarding the contribution, immense contribution he did as a sanitation engineer in Pune, primarily in Pune, because he worked from 1884 until 1908, 1907, 1908 in Bombay. And he was known for writing reports. I think he must have headed some 20, 30, 40 committees as a chairman. For youngsters like all of you here, Abdul Kalam as, Dream 20, if you have seen that Dream 2020, what is that book which he wrote? It was a report on how can India be a forward-looking nation. Then you have Technology Vision 2035, Technology Vision 2047. These are the reports. So like that, Vishwesvaraya has come out with n number of reports as a chairman. And one of them, as a sanitary board, he used to report to the Britishers, completely detailing out the kind of a work and the cost that each of these projects costed. Again, I'm just giving you some glimpse of the 1905-06, what kind of a works he has done. I believe. How much time we have, Saju? 5 to 10 minutes? I'll finish now. Like I told you, MV's official date of birth is, as per this, is 15 September 1861. But I brought this passport primarily because several of us go for entertainment, for foreign countries. This man, wherever he went with a pen, pencil, notebook, kept recording and maybe put the fellow delegates to shame, even at the age of 87, 89. All others could not match up with the pace with which he was going and the manner in which he was recording his observation. He extensively traveled Japan, all European countries, and whatever he learned, he wanted to implement that in India. So these are the 6 major travel that he undertook. And as an outcome of that, we have the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited here. We have the Walchand Hirachand PAL factory in Pune, unfortunately not in Bangalore. We should have had his recommendation been accepted. We would have had a automobile factory in Bangalore somewhere in the 1940s. That did not happen. Another thing is when he took a voluntary retirement from the Bombay presidency when he was a superintending engineer. During those times, no Indian could ever become a chief engineer. It was an unwritten rule, not that there was any written rule. To counter this, because Sir M.V. has chaired several committees where the Europeans were members, including a committee known as Back Bay Reclamation. I mean, you see the Bombay, that the high-rise building, the vertical urbanism that we see in Bombay, primarily comes from the reclamation, sea reclamation that they have taken. There was a lot of corruption in that. One of the committee member against a Britisher, one of the committee member was Sir M.V. The kind of a question, it's a beautiful thing, it's available in the public domain. And the kind of a question that he used to ask the engineer who was responsible, very interesting to read. In 1908, after he took a voluntary retirement, he had undertaken a foreign trip. When he was in Italy, he got an invitation letter from Nizam, because that was the time in 1908 there was heavy floods that had completely ruined the city of Hyderabad and Secunderabad. I think about 40,000 people died, and there was a lot of loss to lives and livelihood. In the moment he reached Italy, this letter was waiting for him. They wanted him to come there to advise him on this. Just after that, Sir M.V. also received another letter from the Mysore Diwan, telling that please come here and join as chief engineer. But since he had received a letter earlier from Hyderabad Nizam, he preferred to go there. He came here. There's a quintessential characteristic of Sir M.V. Whatever work he did, he analyzed what it is. Brought statistics, why it has happened, how many lakes were there, what is the amount of water that was stored, what is the capability of these storages, small little storages. He analyzed all that thing, came to a conclusion that the only solution for doing this is to create 2 reservoirs, both across a river, there are 2 rivers there, Musi and Isi. So he created 2 reservoirs, and the outcome today, I think only in 2018 there was a small little floods, but other than that, whatever he did, those 2, in addition to saving the city from floods, they have also given a beautification of the city. Even today, if you go there, it's so beautiful to look at. So that's the contribution of Sir M.V. In addition to this, he also designed the sanitation work of the city of Hyderabad. After he completed this, so these are some of the photographs of the Isi and Musi reservoirs. And of course, the Nizam felicitating Sir M.V. on this. Now was the time for him to pay back to his motherland. So he had already got a letter to come and be the chief engineer of Mysore, but he said, yes, I'm ready to accept the post of chief engineer, subject to the condition that my duties goes beyond the work of chief engineer. He wanted to get involved in industry policy, creating industries, creating technical and academics, schools and things like that. Fortunately, the king agreed, and so also the Diwan. That's how he became the chief engineer of Mysore somewhere in 1909, immediately after the assignment that he completed in Hyderabad. You see some of this, I will rush fast now. One of the enduring images of Sir M.V. is this Krishnaraja Sagara. Of course, the project took some time, But you must understand why the project has taken time. The politics that we see today between the two states existed then. There were two states. We were not, we were not an independent nation, but there was a princely state of Mysore. There was also a Madras presidency. Madras presidency definitely will have a higher precedence because it was directly under the British. So what Vishwesvaraya wanted, the level, the height to which this he wanted to build this dam, there was a lot of to and fro. The Madras never ever agreed. They're not going to agree even today. So the matter went to, in fact, this project would not have come up had it not been for Vishwesvaraya. Primarily because of Vishwesvaraya's name, the center intervened and gave interim. You need not go to 143 meters height, but you can go up to 114 meters. This is where the foresight, or maybe his intuition, Sir M.V., although it was 114 feet in height, I may be wrong in the numbers, but the foundation that he laid, he designed, was for a higher one. He said, if it doesn't come, so be it. Let the money get wasted. Fortunately for him, it was approved, but it came much later. So there are some here and there criticism that the cost, there was a lot of cost overrun, and the time the project was completed, it took a long time. But these things have to be kept in mind. Socio-political situation that existed during the time of British, which exists even today. This has to be kept in mind. So these are some of the stunning archival information photograph that we got for this exhibition. And this is this is again, now comes to the next. In fact, to be frank, his contributions after becoming the Diwan and retiring from Diwan as the Diwan of Mysore in 1918 is far more than the period that he was the chief engineer or they worked with the British. But due to paucity of time, I'm not going to go into all this detail. But one thing is sure, whatever we see today, South Mumbai, including the water supply here in Bangalore, particularly Mandya, the sugar bowl of the country, everything owes its genesis to the Krishna Rajasagara. And plus, we are talking about compulsory education. Vishwesvaraya was an ardent fan that it is education and education alone which will uplift the people from poverty or whatever. If you are to progress, if you are to come on par with whatever nation, education is fundamental. He was an advocate of that. During his time, from I think, if I'm not, almost the schools jumped up by 3 times. The literacy rate was maybe about 1 in 16 people were literate, even in a state like Mysore. Imagine what happened in other places. So from that stage, he created a lot of schools, primary schools. He made school education compulsory for students. For backward classes, he created something special. They have to be treated separately. It's ironical that Vishwesvaraya had to resign. He didn't want to. There was a lot of pressure on him to continue to be a Diwan. But there are certain circumstances which I cannot speak here, under which he actually submitted his resignation. But there were differences of opinion. Because after all, the Maharaja also had to plead to cater to the public mood, public sentiment. There was something very serious happening in the adjacent Madras state. So that impacted the socio-political situation in Mysore, which he did not like. He always considered merit and merit alone should be the criteria and nothing else. And he practiced it to the core. Even when he became the Diwan, every single appointment, they came. The first thing that happened is people came with a list and said, this is son of so-and-so, so-and-so, either Diwan's son or daughter or this or that, everything. He ensured that there was transparency in that. But he resigned, and from 1918, after that he did a lot of works. Some of the works that he did, Mysore Iron and Steel Works. It's interesting to note, starting an iron and steel factory in India was not an easy task. The first person to do that, at least to imagine doing that, was Jamshedji Tata. He wanted to create a Tata Steel plant. For that, we had to get a permission from the British. I think, if I'm not wrong, the gentleman who was supposed to clear this for the quality control is, I think it was Colonel Walter Scott or something like that. I have to check on my writings. He had to go to Walter Scott to get a permission. When Jamshedji sent one of his engineer to Walter Scott. He said, it is printed in the book, the Tata's, if you look up the history of the Tata Steel, you will get this thing. Walter Scott told him, if you can produce a safety pin to the exacting standards of British, I am ready to chew it. In just 6 years from then, unfortunately, Jamshedji Tata was not alive. His able son Dorabji Tata, ensured that the Tata Steel factory started producing steel. They were not only producing steel, a lot of steel was being exported from here. The reason why this happened is Jamshedji knew that there is only one gentleman, an international expert by name Perrin, who is capable of doing this. Jamshedji went straight into Philadelphia. He landed in his room, and I told, Mr. Perrin, I want you in India. Perrin writes in his book, I don't know, a strange looking man with some typical Parsi dress coming and demanding that I should be here. I thought it should be a joke, but then he ended up in a place called Sakchi, surveyed the whole area, steel plant came up. There are some outstanding communications between M.V. and Perrin. The amount of respect that Perrin had for Sir M.V. is evidence from the fact that when this Bhadravati iron and steel factory, it was about to be closed down because there was a lot of recession. I mean, the cost of the cast iron was going down. That was the time when he was no longer a Diwan. The responsibility of reviving that came with Sir M.V. That is the time when Sir M.V. and Perrin used to have wonderful, interesting discussions, letters. One thing what M.V. did very strangely, that he removed all the European engineers. He trained the Indian engineers, the people there, and removed them. Automatically the cost came down. So for this act of, for removing them, because Perrin was also an advisor to Sir M.V. for the Bhadravati steel plant. After everything, and then, I mean, in spite of the British engineers not on board, the European engineers are not on board, the factory worked with great efficiency. It came back. When this assignment of being the chairman of this factory came up, Vishweshwaraya never asked for any salary, but after everything was over, he got a lot of money. With that money, he created what we now see as the Jaicham Rajendra Polytechnic. Occasional training, when you see the kind of during that time, what special courses were given. So I will rush into this one now because there are too many slides. I don't think I'll be able to complete that. This is again, the Monday I was talking about the sugar bowl of Mysore. It's courtesy the sugar factory that came up. And Mysore sandal again is bounced back globally now. And it was his contribution. Interestingly, from research to land, to actual application, Indian Institute of Science, whether it is the Mysore sandal or the soap or the oil, the basic research happened in the Indian Institute of Science chemistry. You have a chemical engineering there. From the actual research happened there, then the outcome was given to these industries. So these are all the communication that a lot of these copies we got it from, whether it is from the Karnataka State Archives and all over the country. Everyone was so forthcoming for supporting us, primarily because the person involved was Sir M.V. and not the people who were doing it, who were all incidental. I think now we are running late, so I'll stop here because post his, I don't know, let me see if I can. This one, I'm sorry that I should use this. Mysore University, till then, the only university that were happening were all under the British. The first Indian, princely state to have an university of its own was courtesy Sir M.V., the Mysore University. Then, of course, there are other universities which came up. Then he also ensured that a lot of the rail expansion happened. Part of the rail came under the Mysore province. Although, you have everything was under the British. All these things he has done. So let me stop here. There are several other contributions that he has done to the nation after his retirement as a Diwan. Both, whether it is the bridge that you see in the Ganges in Patna, or the Bhadravati, or the Orissa Bhakranangal Dam, everywhere he has his imprint. So with this, I'm sorry that because of paucity of time, I have to cut. I'll just show you the glimpse what I had to. This is, for example, you see all these things here. I also wanted to talk to you about how democratic he was. B.B. Gundappa and Vishweshwaraya had a wonderful relationship. And B.B. Gundappa was a critic of the government. He used to write critical write-ups in the newspaper, but he always encouraged him. The kind of a relationship they had is wonderful. I mean, that itself we can speak about 15-20 minutes on that. I mean, these are the images of the Jaichamarajendra Polytechnic. This is again, I told you about the Back Bay reclamation, the committee's reports and things like that. He also did a great work in Eden, outside the country, of course. And Hirakud Dam, I told you. And this is the premier, the automobile industry, which went to Pune. Then this is Walchand Hirachand's, this one. Then again, this is the factory from there. All India Institute of Manufacturers Organization. I think we owe something to them also, because the preliminary for building this building, I mean, the AIMO actually donated the money. The building that we are here is an outcome of their collection, and it is again his creation. He was very fond of creating institutions like this, clubs like this. Then, of course, Indian Institute of Science, he was on the board for almost about 20, 30 years. And this is the citation that the IISc gave to MV when he retired from the chairmanship of the board of governors. Then you see some JRD Tata's photographs with MV and things like that. Of course, further planning, we know this. That's it. Now let me come to an end. This was again, I mean, 14th April, what happened there. Thank you so much. I mean, if there are any, I mean, one or two questions, I mean, any question can.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a really wonderful and very much informative lecture. And if only a few questions will take up, I request my colleagues to give the mics.
So good morning. Thanks for the wonderful insights about the...
I'm not able to see you, sir.
Sir, I'm Vishweshwaraya.
Yes, please.
My name is Dhanshekar. I'm from Bangalore. Actually, I'm an engineer, and Engineers Day is celebrated because of Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, and it's celebrated since the year 1968. 1968, it's been celebrated Engineers Day, which actually, like, even Teachers Day also is from India, and most of the things United Nations is trying to copy, and they try to come up with a different thing, like World Teachers Day for a different date rather than September 5th, and September 15th is the Engineers Day. My kind request is, so far for the, press people also, they're here, only one stamp, postage stamp has been released on Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, that is 15 paisa stamp. And we have not got many stamps in the current generation. Actually, if they come up with the more postage stamps on Sir M. Vishweshwaraya for Engineers Day, as well as the 100 years, the centenary of KRS Dam, it will be very wonderful, and it will encourage and it will actually motivate the youngsters across the nation. And even the Reserve Bank of India has not come up with any commemorative coin on Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, wherein for politicians all they come up with so many commemorative coins. Why not a commemorative coin for Sir M. Vishweshwaraya? And why not a train?
I understood your
Thank you, sir.
Emotions.
Sure.
But sir, you're sitting in this hallowed institution.
Yes.
यहाँ पे हमारा वो control नहीं है.
Okay.
But one thing we can do.
Yes, sir.
You are the future. All of you collectively.
Sure, sir.
If you can contribute as I think you are an engineer by yourself, or maybe studying engineering. If you can apply science in your engineering,
Okay, sir.
for the larger good of the society,
Okay.
maybe we could become the developed nation, which in, what is that, 2047, maybe it can happen much earlier than that. Courtesy you, all of you. So the rest of the part, let us leave it to the people who are expert in this. Maybe as a collective, together, maybe we can express our emotions, but then we have no control.
Sure, sir.
So that's what I can say. I think maybe incompetent to answer this. Sorry.
Sure. Two more suggestions, sir. One is like even Indian Railways can come up with Vishweshwaraya Express. So far, they have not come up with any kind of a thing like that. Actually, they should. He was the first engineer to get the Bharat Ratna Award in 1955. So they should give more encouragement. And apart from that, even we have the metro station named after him, Sir M. Vishweshwaraya Metro Station, Central College. They should have more like kind of a banners and depicting his achievements, what he's done. In that particular, there should be a feel factor in the
Done. I mean, agreed, sir.
stations.
All of us, I mean, everyone sitting here, and
Thank you, sir.
including the whole of the state, endorses your emotions. But let's see what happens. Any other questions, please? Okay, thank you so much. I know, I mean, I ran out of time, but then, I mean, everything has to come to an end. I'm so very thankful to each and every one of you that you gave me a patient hearing. There's so much to be done. There's so much more research to be done. And I wish all these youngsters tread the path of Sir MV and contribute to the nation. In doing so, as a spin-off benefit, you yourself will be enriched. Or maybe this country will be enriched as a spin-off benefit, and maybe you will be more benefited. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Now I'd request, as a token of love and appreciation, I'd request Sri K. Sajubhaskaran, Director of VITM, to present a small moment to sir.
Just take 1 second.
Now I'd request Srimati Jyoti Mehra, Curator of VITM, to propose vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Vishweshwaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, Bangalore, it gives me an immense pleasure to present this vote of thanks on this very special occasion, a day when we are having this opportunity to learn much beyond Sir MV's contribution to the KRS dam. There are many who have come today here who already are aware of his valuable contribution towards the nation building. But when we talk about the students, many of us might not be aware of the diverse fields in which Sir MV has contributed. Not just the engineering feats, but also towards the industries, building of the industries, institutions, and many more towards, the development of the whole country in the larger perspective. Today, while we had this great opportunity to listen to Shri S.M. Kenneth, who is at present the member of NCSM Society and had been with us as director VITM, as he mentioned through his talk that it was him who was instrumental in coming up with this idea that, having this 150th year of Sir MV, let's do something. And I take huge pride in being associated with this, along with, the support of the whole team. Mr. Saju Bhaskaran, who is the director at this museum, he was instrumental in bringing out the whole idea alive in form of the physical models and many more the guiding force towards this development. So while we all had the glimpse of the whole exhibition, that how it all has been conceptualized and how it was even taken further in Mumbai, and that's how spreading the words towards what Sir MV had done for the nation building. We are elated that today, as as part of this Diamond Jubilee of this museum, we are here sitting in this building, which is an testament to his life and works, his contributions to the society. We are elated to have this wonderful session on this Sir MV, the Nation Builder session, which was being delivered by Shri Kenneth. A big round of applause to Sir for this fantastic session. I must say it was a Herculean, he must have been a Herculean task to bring out everything within 1 hour time. I don't think it was actually possible, but we could see it happening here. That is SM Kennett. So thank you very much once again, sir. And I would also like to thank all the very eminent personalities, the family members of Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, along with the other friends of Sri Kenneth who have come here from the military background and others as well. I can see a number of the prominent persons who are being here. Thank you very much for joining us for very, very special occasion. We are grateful for your presence, and we look forward to further associations in the coming days as well. Thank you. And along with that, I would be, I should not miss out the students. These are majorly the students who are here with us, are science and engineering college students. We try to make sure that these are the ones who are going to be the torchbearer of Sir MV's legacy. So I would like to thank all the students from New Horizon College, Maharani College, Nruptunga University, and there are a few students even from some other there are some individual students from different colleges of Bangalore. I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks for your presence today. I hope that this lecture is going to enlighten you all for your future endeavors. So with this, I would also like to convey my heartfelt thanks to all the media personnel who are here. I'm sure that this message of Sir MV's contributions and the works that are happening at the museum will be taken for the wider reach and knowledge of the public. So thank you to all the media personnel as well. And our director at the museum, I'm grateful for all the support that he has shown us towards the whole preparation of this Diamond Jubilee events. I would like to invite you all for the tomorrow's Diamond Jubilee event, where we are all going to open a fun science gallery. It's a new gallery that's going to get open tomorrow at 3 p.m. afternoon. You are all welcome for the program. And last but not the least, all my fellow colleagues at this museum who have really put in a lot of efforts for the whole, this Diamond Jubilee preparations. I'm very thankful to all of you for your support. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone.
We have arranged a refreshment for you all. Kindly have the refreshment in the foyer area, and students, then again one open house quiz also is arranged. After the refreshment, you come back here for the quiz. Thank you.